Elon Musk's SpaceX sends more Starlink terminals to power supply Ukraine by Elizabeth Warren. According to Elon Musk, SpaceX's Starlink satellite broadband service is already operational in Ukraine, and additional terminals are also being shipped over. Musk's announcement came in response to requests from the Ukrainian government official, who requested whether he might assist the country's residents in gaining internet connectivity in the face of persistent Russian strikes. So in this video, we will be talking about how Elon Musk's SpaceX sends more Starlink terminals to power Ukraine, as well as how it will impact the war and help Ukraine. Watch this video till the very end to know about all these new discoveries. Hello everyone! Welcome back to the Tech Universe. Before starting, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to get more updates on the space and tech world. That being said, let's begin. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky thanked Elon Musk's SpaceX for sending the second batch of Starlink terminals to Ukraine, soon after Russian President Vladimir Putin authorized his soldiers to send the troops to Ukraine. SpaceX supplied the first shipment of the satellite-based broadband network to the besieged country. Ukraine's Vice Prime Minister, Mikhailo Fedorov, confirmed that the nation has got the new gadgets marketed as best suited for locations where internet connection is poor or non-existent. Got the second batch of Starlink stations, he tweeted on Wednesday. Elon Musk is a man of his word. Thanks a lot for supporting Ukraine as well as world peace. Thank you. Omar Karova, after Russian bombing raids in major Ukrainian cities produced a loss of internet access. Mr. Fedorov was indeed the lawmaker who first called a tech entrepreneur for help. Elon Musk, while you strive to colonize Mars, Russia is trying to invade Ukraine. He tweeted on February 26th. Russian blast hits Ukrainian civilians as your rockets perfectly land from orbit. We request that you deliver Starlink stations to Ukraine, as well as urge sensible Russians to stand. Starlink service is now operating in Ukraine. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk responded the same day. Additional terminals are being added. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier thanked Mr. Musk for granting Ukraine access to his Starlink network. In a tweet, Mr. Zelensky added, "I'm thankful to him because he supports Ukraine with words and acts. We'll get another set of Starlink systems for damaged cities next week." He remarked that they talked about potential space ventures, which he said he would disclose after the war. Vitaly Klitschko, who is the mayor of Kiev, has been seen with a cargo of Starlink equipment that had already landed in the capital city. He said that Starlink would indeed aid in the security of essential infrastructure as well as the city's defense. What is Starlink? Starlink is SpaceX's attempt to send a network of tiny satellites to low Earth orbit that will deliver high-speed internet access to even some of the more remote locations on the planet with minimum downtime. Satellites are being used to link people on the ground in a number of different ways. Still, conventional communication satellites, according to Melodia, are situated in orbit nearly 36,000 kilometers just above the Earth's crust. LEO satellites, or low Earth orbit satellites, travel between 500 and 2,000 kilometers well above the planet's surface. When satellites come closer to the surface of the Earth, they can deliver bandwidth to a smaller region, according to Melodia, which is a stronger connection. You can also provide connection to a very vast section of the surface, with a mega constellation, comprising several of these satellites, which are low orbital. As a result, this project has the potential to offer high-speed internet to rural locations with low populations, where laying wires for the internet would be too impractical. Technologies like Starlink could provide a substitute to fiber because they automatically reach locations where fiber connectivity isn't available. Melodia explains. Starlink delivered download rates above 100 megabits per second in 15 regions the year before, as per connection speed site Ookla, which studied satellite internet speed. In the United States, Starlink decided to offer mean internet speeds of around 105 megabits per second as well as upload speeds of around 12 megabits per second, which would be about 5 or perhaps even 6 times faster than its satellite competitors Viasat as well as HughesNet, whose averages, and instead just shy of the average score for the fixed broadband internet category, which encompasses satellite as well as other structures of providing communication links to people's houses without ground-laid facilities. In the next several months, customers may experience data speeds ranging from 50 to 150 megabits per second and latency ranging from 20 to 40 milliseconds throughout most places, according to Starlink's website, which warns of brief intervals without any connectivity. Data speed and latency will increase as we deploy more satellites, add further ground stations, and enhance their networking software. Towards that aim, Musk predicted that the provider's peak speeds would quadruple to 300 megabits per second by the conclusion of 2021. Such statements are hard to assess in 2022 because speeds may differ depending on location and time. CNET's John Kim enrolled for the service at his house in California the year before, and he's been checking it out at several locales recently. He had a download speed of 78 megabits per second and then a latency of 36 milliseconds at home. Starlink coverage is now confined to certain regions in particular countries, despite assurances to reach the entire world by this fall. Even so, as even more satellites enter the constellation, the service map will expand significantly. According to Musk, the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Austria, Germany, Ireland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, Switzerland, Portugal, Australia, as well as New Zealand are among the countries now served by the developing system of low Earth orbit satellites. In addition to Italy, Spain, Poland, and Chile, Starlink's pre-sale agreement contains options for seeking access in other nations. However, there still is a long way to go. Starlink will almost certainly need to have at least 10,000 satellites into low orbit until it can boast to serve the proportion of the planet. At the moment, it was only about a quarter of the way there, having coverage limited to areas around 45 and 53 degrees north latitude. The network was accessible to 0.08% of Americans until December 2020, when Starlink was just commencing its beta, per the FCC, which recently introduced Starlink to its roster of network operators. Users had access to maximum data speeds of 100 megabits per second, plus upload speeds of 10 megabits per second at the time. Future FCC disclosures will provide a clear picture as to how much the network is expanded in a busy 2021. What technology is on the ground? First, you require satellites to give connectivity, and then you will need Earth stations to link to these satellites. It's comparable to other satellite connectivity options. Therefore, the way the system works is that you do have these big dish antennas that link to the satellite, and afterward the antennas link to maybe the home Wi-Fi router to give internet to consumers. Musk deployed such dish antennas to Ukraine, which have been referred to as terminals when discussing Starlink devices. Could this technology be a target in combat? So basically, connectivity can be classified as either being wireless or wired. Every wireless device except satellite, says the report, must depend on the nation's fiber deployment network. This is because fiber optic connections are generally a focus for attack. Users could completely bypass native Ukrainian systems since you have these wireless lines that will go to the satellite, and thus the satellite can talk with other areas of the Earth. Simply said, there are fewer physical components on the ground that can be interrupted. The only necessary infrastructure you will need in Ukrainian land when you connect with Starlink satellites is base stations. Everything else seems to be in the sky or might be somewhere else. So as a result, it's considerably more difficult to disrupt. We do not even believe that Ukraine is at a stage where Russians are going to try to knock down satellites, since that would be too difficult. Could Starlink connectivity change the course of the war? Starlink is an additional source of connections for Ukraine. However, it is not without flaws. It's not going to grant everyone an indestructible internet connection. Melodia believes it is unlikely to influence the war's outcome. I believe it does have a very practical purpose for sustaining communications at all times. He adds, but I also believe it has a symbolic importance in this specific circumstance. It's saying you won't be able to quickly interrupt important economic as well as communication aspects because there will be alternatives. So this is how Elon Musk and his SpaceX Starlink will help Ukraine and how it will impact the ongoing war. With this, we come to the end of this video. In the comment section below, let us know where you think the war is heading. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channel for more uploads like this. We will see you in the next one. Until then, peace.